And this is Smokey Steve and Mark. Welcome or welcome back and happy Sunday. Sunday. We are having a little bit to eat. I don't like this. I hate this tripod. I don't know why we kept this tripod. We have 4 other tripods. It's not your problem. I'm sorry. So for the sake of eating, I'm going to be having some chicken and rice today. The rice is basmati. And last night I thawed out some chicken, ground chicken that was in the freezer. And Mark had made like spinach artichoke dip the day before. So I took a glob of that and mixed it with the chicken and made chicken burgers. Very good. And so I chopped up one of these. Shelbell, hello. Pixie, hello. So, it's snowing like crazy here. 10 minutes ago it wasn't doing anything and we just had a squall come through. Whiteout. I mean, half an inch of snow in about 15 minutes. It's wild. So, Annie, hello. Foxy, hello. Seafood, hello. So, it's Sunday, the week's winding down. For some of us, the work week begins, or other responsibilities we have. You know, the Schmondays. This helps stave off the Schmondays a little bit. But it's like sometime around 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday, the weekend is over. It just seems to be the way. So, and after having so many weeks where we worked like 3 days a week, 2 days a week with the holidays and stuff. So, this last week was busy. It felt very busy. It felt very like a long week. So, we are going to check in with our fair lady, Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, Big Beautiful Me, The Daily Chantal, Chantopolis, The Chantal Show, The Beezer Show, Everyday Miriam, Chantal and Sala, and then that's just YouTube, so I don't know the rest. So I titled this Eat, Pray, Seal, because now that our fair lady is back in Canada and seems to have made enough rent to pay for another month or whatever, she's still kind of living there like she's just crashing for the weekend. She did a quick tour because she was, what did she do? She did 9 hours last time we checked in on that. And then on Kick she did another 5 and deleted it, and then more. You have to accumulate so many hours on Kick of viewing time and people who subscribe and that kind of thing. And for how big her channel is on YouTube, I think she'll make all those numbers pretty easily. Then what is she going to do? Sure, you can get the people to show up, but how are you going to keep them there? She seemed to keep Beezers pretty well. You know, she would replace what she lost if she had a large event and then lost a bunch of subs. Chantal hasn't had one of those events in a while where she loses like 1,000 or 2,000. I remember Amber had one of those 7 or 8 years ago, and she lost about 7,000 subscribers before she could stop the bleeding. So, Joan, Erica, hello. So, I'll be touching base on Foodie Beauty, as we talked last week, had a physical injury, which colors the whole week. So it's not news that Chantal said that she has like a bum dead leg that she has to drag behind her. She doesn't seem too concerned. Nah. So she went to the ER, or she went to the ER. I want to say it was a week ago. She thought, she said she fell and thought that maybe she bruised or broke a rib. Hey, funny girl. And that's painful. I've broken and bruised ribs before. It's ungodly painful. She was recommended to try over-the-counter stuff, hot and cold, Tylenol, that kind of thing. And then she was arguing with the chat about whether or not it's a waste of people's time to go back to the ER. Well, they told me if it hurt to come back. The ER, there's emergencies going on in there. If you have time to stop off, get dinner, sleep on it for a couple days, and be like, man, yeah, still hurts. I think she has this idea that she's going to be it's unrealistic if you're 400 pounds that you're going to be pain-free. You know, not into your 40s. This is when shit starts to go bone on bone in the knees and the hips and everything. And she would love it. It's, you know, she plays it off with Sala like he's too young for her. Now, she's not talking about him, but they're talking, but they're married, but they're not. Like, who the fuck knows? She kind of frames it like she's older than him. And so he's young and wants to spend time doing this and that. It's not that she's old, it's that she acts like a defeated senior citizen who is not getting off the couch, is upset at you for suggesting it, and nobody understands the pace she needs to go. I know a few people with debilitating diseases that get up off the couch more than Chantal. It's her choice, to live like this, but I don't think she's going to get people who are going to sit for 5 hours while she stares at the chat waiting for them to inspire her to say something. She's going to have to get a little bit better at being interesting in so many words. So, Jerry, exactly. She needs all the services. Like, she needs a Jerry chair, and if you want to weigh her, you got to put her in that big sling like she's at the fish market, because she's creating a level of disability in her body by the choices she's making with her eyes, hands, and mouth. When food is your fix, everybody can tell, whether it's in excess or in absence. So the fact that she would be the way she's at and think that she's not going to think her way out of this. One of the things they used to tell us when I was in rehab, one of the 20 of them, you can't think your way out of a problem. You can't fix this brain with this brain. Bring people in, medical people, friends. I swear if she had a friend, she wouldn't go to the ER. Just something to make her feel special. Something that makes the record stop and make all the attention about me. And not only will she waste a doctor's time, she will say she knows better than the doctor if she doesn't like the answer that she gets. Like when she was in Syria. And she ended up needing to go somewhere for like a breathing treatment. She had the CPAP on, even more like Buzz Lightyear. And the doctors and the medical staff said, "We think you're okay now, you can leave." And she said, "No, I don't want to leave. I still don't feel..." It was air conditioned. She told the doctors that she didn't think she should leave yet. So it's not about the chat knowing more than the doctors, because we're not doctors. It's her knowing more than the doctors. But she's not a doctor. I'm a big proponent of you're kind of the expert on yourself and your symptoms, but Chantal has zero insight into her part of any situation. She knows her body. Who the fuck are the doctors to tell her anything? Exactly. I know what to do with the insulin. I've been diabetic for years. I need this, I need that. And when she went in with her pain, and they gave her 3 Tylenol, a shot of Dilaudid, and Toradol, which is curious because normally those 3 things wouldn't be used together. A couple of those wouldn't be used at all. Toradol, I've had shots before. Toradol is not habit forming. It's an NSAID, a strong one. And you can get it by injection, or you can take it orally for, I think, up to 5 days in a row because it's tough on your stomach. Tylenol is what it is. Acetaminophen, it helps. The Dilaudid, my God. Oh, I had a hangnail, so they gave me a fentanyl patch. Who could look at her and think she isn't in some degree of pain? But how many people on, let's say, 600-pound life, as they start losing weight, or they lose weight and they're not getting better, they find out they have this emerging problem with substances. Because whatever the food's doing for you, you're just trading off to let the drugs do it for a while. Then we stop doing edibles, and then we want to mood alter off a person. So let's see, who can I get it to my attention? My ex? Or my other ex, apparently. We were reminded by Chantal that there's plenty of stuff that goes on off camera. Oh, honey, I'd be so happy for you if it was. But there's not much happening. They have their own unique relationship, and, secrets make her feel special because she's in on it. Exactly, Steve Assanti vibes. They're going to have to... She's going to have, a CNA come in, break down the door. Oh, my God. That Assanti guy is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I know. There's a lot of... everyone has some twist that makes their life a little more challenging in one area than others, Assanti, yeah, the just cringe, just for watching for cringy's sake. If you don't like me, I'm going to make you hate me. His very serious drug problem made him obnoxious. I know when he was going through part of 600-pound life, he was hitting emergency rooms non-stop getting pain medication. And they did a track of how many he did in a month in the state of Texas, and it was a ton. And he has a lot of co-occurring additions. So who wouldn't understand if he was in some level of pain? But if you're good, you can wind a doctor around your finger. Now, Dr. Nazarban put the kibosh on this and put him on Suboxone to get him to withdraw from the medication and then hopefully slowly taper off so he doesn't go into withdrawal, which is a big trigger for relapse. He was still demanding about that. Fighting with the nurse aide and all that stuff. He has to have someone come in and help him. How far away are we from Chantal needing the same? They call them ADLs in the hospitals. Can you wash your feet? Can you wash your hair? Can you dress yourself? Can you feed yourself? You know, all the activities of daily living. Can she do all those? I'm going to say no. She can't. If she can but chooses not to, isn't it just the same as if she can't? Like, oh, I don't like showering. We know. But when you live alone and there's no one to smell you, you know, people can tell. So, notes. So the ER, they told her to come back. She went to the hospital for her rib pain. They had ordered a CT scan. Everything pretty much came back clean. It says no indication of this, no indication of that, no indication of that, no indication of that, just like they do when you run tests. This is what she was talking about getting the good painkillers in Syria. I don't know if she's getting Dilaudid run wide open when she goes there for, what is it? Whatever she's at the hospital for at that point. She just wants the air conditioning, so she makes up an excuse to go to a hospital. So, nothing remarkable. They gave her some pain meds, and that was it. In news, her Twitch appeal was denied. So there's going to be another lapse of time where she's not going to be on Twitch because of the choices she made and the way she acts. At this point, it's got to be like her dating life. How many platforms can you chew your way through and not think, maybe it's me, maybe it's the content I'm doing, maybe it's my attitude towards the audience, maybe it's XYZ. But she doesn't. It's YouTube's fault, and it's Patreon's fault, and it's this one's fault, and this one's fault, and then Kick, and I don't even know what Kick is, but guys, come join it. She's dragged those poor suckers from app to app to app to app to chat to chat to chat to chat. And a few of them have gone along with it, but I don't know. I don't even know if I'd follow us that hard if it was that hit or miss kind of, no. She was gifted, not gifted subscribers on Kick. And she made it sound like gifted doesn't count. She needs to accumulate so many for herself. And she was sitting there begging, please, can we get 2 more? Oh, maybe tomorrow. And she got a whole solid 10 people. 10 friends in any given chat. Now, the reason that, members get more attention is because, well, they pay. I think that's how that works out for her. And I think with her membership, she said, I want to say $4.99 or similar. Tracy and Teardrop can sit on it because they've made their choices. They've been in this too long to play dumb. They've been in this far too long to play dumb. They're getting something out of her the same way she's getting something out of them. I don't know what emotional need watching Chantal eat takes and fixes, but it's doing something for those two because apparently they feel better about themselves when they give someone who doesn't need the money to get something they don't need, more food, and I don't know. Unicorn, hello. She was going off on a rant. What did she do? She was going off on a political rant, and apparently some of her beezers have rather strong political beliefs, one way and the other, out both directions. And Chantal was stupid enough to bring it up, which turned into the beginning of a discussion about politics. And, I'm not really interested in her view on things so much. Like, if she was an embedded reporter in Syria, I'd really want to hear all about the experience. But since she just held down the couch and then occasionally entertained the handicapped girl that would walk through her line of sight, if she's ceiling, unless you come this way or this way, she's not seeing you. There is no periphery. There is none. She is tunnel visioned. I try to test myself sometimes. It's like, oh, let me just put my phone down for a minute. God. 4 minutes later, I pick it up. It's, force of habit, so. We are both doing better. Mark's a little tired still, but hey, compared to how things were, he's doing pretty good. He's left the house. He's done a couple activities. So I turned a corner like last week. By Monday, I was feeling fine. So. The creator from Kick has his own lore. Oh, God. So, the streaming on Kick, again, is not something I think she's going to drag everybody over there to go do. She had made the cake just in case Twitch didn't work out, and Twitch didn't work out at least for another month or so. What can you do? She had done a couple hauls, having settled in, because she needs some things so quickly. Now, she could go to certain stores if she had a vehicle, but I appreciate her wanting to get everything shipped because it's too hard for her to do much of anything else. So gets her food delivered, gets her other stuff delivered. There was no Amazon in Syria, so I'm making up for lost time, and just buying stuff. And she got herself, what did she get herself? Okay, so she had all sorts of lotions and potions that she needed. A prayer rug and prayer beads. So she's trying to woo some Muslim right now. Otherwise, she wouldn't go through the motions of pretending to get down and pray, and to do it how many times a day. And now she's interested in learning Arabic. 3 years living there. And how soon after their divorce? No one knows what goes on behind the scenes, but I think a lot of us wouldn't be wrong by guessing. It's obvious that no one's happy. We'll say that. Whatever arrangement and commitment is there is fine, but neither of those two look happy with each other anymore. I can't blame Salah, and on a cold read, I can't blame Chantal. She needs to get herself, I don't want to say it again, I said that last week. She needs to get herself someone who's a little more her speed. Someone else who likes food. Somebody else who likes recreational substances. Somebody who wouldn't mind being dragged in front of a whole audience and have their life and all their experiences just turned over for everyone to see. Because when you get too close to Chantal, it burns, mommy, it burns. Don't touch it. She's been speaking more Arabic in Canada. I know, anytime she puts out... She only prays as a transaction. She's like, okay, if I pray today because I want this to happen, that it's a very simple way of connecting. I pray because I want this outcome, and then there's this outcome. That's the kind of praying I do at the casino. I was like, come on, God. I promise I'll give away half of it if you just bless me. Bless me. I've earned money. I've earned everyone else's quarters in a game of chance. So goes, I guess. So she's still spent all this crap. There's still no talk of Salah as she's been going through these Kick Lives, the long one, and she popped onto YouTube for a bit. According to her, so her and Salah are not in contact. So then it becomes, well, who's the prayer mat and the beads for? 3 years she can't feign interest in Islam. And then she moves home, and just to keep up appearances, she bought a prayer rug. Which, she said it's more comfortable. She already said she's going to sit there on that boneless couch and pray. If she's going to pray. And actually, stopping 5 times a day to pray, compared to the practices of some people in even other faiths, is not a whole lot to ask. Especially if you're going to identify yourself as a member of the faith. And there's 5 opportunities. How many times a day do the bells go off? There's that many opportunities to be serious about it. Instead, you can hear her cursing people out with the call to prayer going off in the background. Because she's a Western Muslim, which means she just dresses like one. That's the difference. She said Salah blocked her. And then she blocked him. She made it sound like they go back and forth blocking each other. I don't believe it. She can't keep him blocked for more than a few minutes. She's too impulsive. I think he's kind of done with her. There was a suggestion also that through the grapevine, some material may have made its way from Natter to Salah and Salah's family in terms of what is in these videos, what is the big to-do. So that's a shitty position to be in. Tit for tat when it comes to God. It's like too transactional. But that's how she does it. I'll just get what I need. I promise God I'll give a 20 to this homeless guy if you bless me with getting things my way, whether or not it's good for anybody else. One of the only things I think is worth praying for, first of all, the only prayer you ever really need to say is thank you. Personal opinion. But also, prayer can be very, very simple. It doesn't have to be grand. And for people that incorporate being in touch with their spirituality, whatever that looks like, people who are closer to that than not tend to be less agitated. They're less triggered by other things. They're less interested in other people's business. Chantal lives for other people's business. what's going on here? What's going on there? Who's talking about me? Who's not talking about me? What can I get them to do to talk about me? I'll go on Kick. I'll go on Patreon. I'll go on YouTube. Again, at what point do you go, maybe it's me? Maybe it's not, because she was starting to already, what about, with the food stuff. She had a video come down that she thought was appropriate and said, well, what about Hungry Fat Chick? Well, what about this one? Why don't they have their videos? This isn't about them. It's about you. Is that going to be your defense? Please don't demonetize me because these other bitches are doing it too. Again, Chantal's MO is not to say that she's better than anyone, just that she's amongst the scummy. So she's not saying what she's doing isn't scummy. She's saying other people do it too. And no one makes fun of them and no one picks on them. Well, they're not. Chantal's an easy target. Unfortunately, she's an easy target. And when she was a kid, that was probably hard. But now that she's over 40, her developmental shortcomings spill out into her adulthood. And you find her reacting to situations as an adult the way a kid might react, or the way a younger person might react, because they don't have the perspective or experience to say, okay, this is a big deal, this is a little deal, this will pass, this will go away. It's all the mad, passionate, romantic, sturm and drag, I love you, I hate you, come here, go away. I don't think none of the guys with her want that. No one wants to play that game with her. Maybe they will with other women, but not her. So, just discovered the channel and have been watching all the foodie videos. Oh, great! Welcome, welcome, welcome. Ginger Pale Ale. I love it. Thanks for joining us. Grab a seat. There's a lot of lurkers in the back. I see you guys. I see you. So, she did say on a healthy turn, she says, alleges, she doesn't, but she says, she found a primary care doctor, and she'll be able to go very soon. Now, any other time you ask her to go to a doctor, there's a fucking 85-month waiting list because she's in Canada, so it's hard to do. So to jump the line, because her problems aren't that serious, she goes to the ER and tries to leverage that. Like when she wanted to get into the eating disorder program, she went in through the ER, had a huge meltdown, and they got her set up for outpatient. For whatever reason, it wasn't done in a way that she liked, so she never went. She didn't do anything. Chantal seeks out medical services for things that are decidedly not that serious, but she gets anxious for attention, so she'll go to the hospital. But we've gone to the hospital with Chantal for, ribs, blood sugar stuff a few times. I don't think she's ever overdosed. Anxiety, we've been there. When she ate all that cheese and felt unsafe, which... If this will tell you something about me, probably. If Chantal, who's 400 pounds, ate a bunch of cheese and then felt unsafe afterwards, like she might want to do something. I've been in and around mental health a lot as a me, and then as a person helping other people. Whatever her reason, if she said she was unsafe, I would tell her to go to the hospital. She can sort through those feelings when she gets there, but regardless of the reason, she's not very emotionally mature. She makes impulsive decisions, kind of like she doesn't understand the gravity of health, life, death, all that stuff. She's too busy beezing. Well, now that she's not beezing, because, as we saw, she found some joints on the ground, some pre-rolls, and broke them up and threw them away in a grand... This is ridiculous. Of course she still has some. Of course she's still using some. When I was trying to throw people off with my drinking, I would, have a pint of vodka on me somewhere, either in my stuff or in a drawer or in my bag or wherever. And then that would get taken because I was with my parents and they're like, we don't want you to die drunk, so we're going to take the rest of this alcohol away from you. Only so I could disappear stage left and do other stuff. That wasn't the only bottle I had. It wasn't even the biggest bottle I had. But we're going to set it up like I take it seriously so that off camera I can indulge in everything I want to do. So, those test results she presented were not good. No, it's not. The liver didn't look good. Those are all numbers I've seen because I used to drink a lot. And my liver numbers would be really rough. Now, after about a couple months in rehab and not using it, everything came back into range. It's high normal now. But I can appreciate her being neurotic about thinking that there's something wrong. I think she was just as happy to get a shot of pain medication because You know, that has a mood altering effect as well. Um, yeah, they always go to the ER because any doctor who saw them regularly would say, Jesus Christ, woman, we'll give you the Ozempic, something. I don't think they've put it all together. Hey, Panda. I don't think that they connect the dots between food and death. Food doesn't always equal death, but the relationship that Amber has with food, that Chantal has with food, that Jen had with food was more important, and she tunnel visioned on that. Jen did anyway, to the point where she didn't take her health seriously. She was picking out problems in other areas of her life. I'm like, honey, you are one foot in the grave, and then the other foot went in. And the last video I remember her seeing was complaining about how other people act like they know what they're talking about. After the two of them had COVID, and then she died. So their indignant superior discussion about health, wellness, and personal choices were bullshit, because it's all moot at this point. I will say this, which I think is interesting. Chantal is arguably an abuser of substances. Some people take a 10 milligram gummy before bed, like it's a little happy hour, a little glass of wine, and then some people eat a 3,000 milligram gummy. And you could perform surgery for how out of it she looks. So if she's doing that, that's okay with her because it's legal and it's this and it's that. Pete's once in a while would want to play with the gummies. Natter was up for anything. Everything from a cigarette to a pipe and everything in the middle. Now, if she's got those addictive, thrill-seeking, impulsive tendencies, you add that to drugs, plus you add another person with her who's also reckless and likes substances and doesn't seem to care about the consequences. That's where the two of them go off and get in trouble. Sala has, different interests sexually, fetish-wise, power-wise, all the stuff that he likes to do. But for all his faults, he could still do better than Chantal. Because Chantal will cheat on you while trying to put your feet to the fire and say, you were talking to somebody else. You were fucking your ex. Oh, I wasn't fucking him. He was just fucking the back of my head. She can deny, she can say whatever I want. It doesn't matter. But with gummies, each gummy has a dosage. It's my understanding. I'm relatively hit or miss with the gummies. I usually have vapes if I'm going to be administering my THC. But yeah, they're dosed for beginners, and then there's ones that are higher dosed for, you use it for recreation, do you use it for anxiety, do you use it to get some sleep? Is it a mixture of recreational and medicinal reasons that maybe kind of come over it? So yeah, they dose them out. And people, they try it, and some of them are good and some of them aren't. It's like anything. So, but the fact that she eats that many is a lot. Like 10 or 20 would be like John Q, have a gummy at the end of the night kind of guy. But when you're talking about enough to fell a buffalo, whoopsies, and Natter will play with her. They'll sit around and play with drugs and food and sex and all the good thrill-seeking stuff. And they have probably a nice little bender of a weekend. They used to. She'd be gone for days. She'd come back, burns and hair fibers down to her nose and all that kind of stuff. Salva's not that kind of fun. Salva's not going to go out and get baked with her. Salva's not going to get into trouble with her. He's too goody-goody. And her thinking that their age difference is the big issue is, honey, I wish that was it. I wish it was just that issue for you. But no, not only is it a different stage of life, he doesn't like you. And more importantly, that kind of trumps everything else. If he's not kind to you when the camera's on or off, then what are you defending? It's fine. Someone married me. Fine, you're lovable. We get it. Where's the paper? Who cares? Now, on to the next thing. Because you couldn't keep this man. She won't take down the videos of him with her on the channel because she said, that was a part of my life. It was all those years. It was all those things I could... No. But like I said, this renewed Muslim shit, she's got her eye on someone or trying to get someone back. Her body, she treats like a speed bump. So she's had organs, she's had the hysterectomy. She had her gallbladder out. she's not in, she's not the picture of health at present. Um, when she's everything that helps her body try to work out, like the liver, is probably shot because it has to work so hard all the time. It's constantly doing the work of 4 meals per person. She only has one stomach. She doesn't have multiple ones like, an animal. So her not showing the marriage certificate, it's sad because it's like, don't you just want to confirm the obvious and go forward? I would appreciate her having the fourth, and it's nobody's business, but fuck it. You're going to stream for 20 hours in a period of 3 days and then tell anyone watching that they're being nosy. You've given people access to everything except watching you shit. There's a lot to judge. There's a lot to take on. And nobody's perfect, but you can't expect to be online for 9 hours and have nobody come in and, stir some shit. The people who were on Kick, this was funny. The people on Kick were creating screen names to follow her. The names they were coming up with were unbelievably funny. Oh my God. It was everything from Natter's Mangled Sausage, Just Followed You, to Teardrops Munchausen Syndrome. There was a couple other ones that flew through. They're creative. They were funny. And she didn't seem bothered. She probably was, but she was trying not to seem bothered by that. The names were just too good. They were too good. If you haven't found it, find a channel where you can see part of the replay of it. It's just, I think Barbecue Chillins had listed a cut of a bunch together. And they were just funny. Just funny. My God. And she's reading them as they're coming across, and she's getting what I thought was more pissed. But now remember, too. So she's getting into the new apartment. She's showing the new apartment that she has. She's also saying it's a little dirty, but that we need to understand that it's a little dirty because she was injured. The Dilaudid probably made her more unsteady than the rib. You know what I mean? Like the treatment probably... It's one way to kill an afternoon, I guess. So Kick didn't lie. She showed us her place and says that, don't judge me. I have an injury. She's going to need a home health aide. The kind of stuff that Smee and her aunt maybe or uncle would come over and do for her when she was at the villa. Because Chantal will... It's not like she works herself to death. Her life slows to a crawl. Nothing gets done. And cleanliness and hygiene, the cleanliness of her home and her own personal hygiene, get dicey when she's tied up with her nonsense. So, she could use someone to come in and flip her. I know when she had, was it the hysterectomy? I think that, and then maybe she had probably a cyst or a boil on the bra line right in the back. And those are really, really painful too. But she had home health from what she described coming in. It was COVID-ish time, so I think people weren't necessarily, they were bringing one person to your house instead of everyone going to the hospital. So she had help coming in to the house to do that. There's agencies that will, for people that live alone and have a hard time with it. And, she could get a buddy who will come over, like respite care, to give Sala a break, have somebody else come in and fill in the meantime. So she's still getting the attention she needs, but it gives her husband time to breathe. Yeah. But Sala's not talking to her. She's not talking to him. Now, in the cleaning and finding a joint. So it's no news that Chantal plays with substances, and we just said THC is, if it's not her favorite, it's the one she uses most often, I guess. Like I said, when she was cleaning, she came across some stuff that she was like, see how strong I am? And she breaks this, probably a Swisher Sweet or something. But she breaks it in half and says, look at me, like she's brave. Throwing away money on drugs to then further throw it away by ruining the drugs is like a doubly bad sort of thing. It's one thing if you just, have the straight joint in your room, at home, whatever. It's legal where she is. So is liquor, though. And if you were drinking a half a gallon of vodka in a sitting during a live, people would say something. And it's still legal. And you can't tell me what to do, and it's my life. when you get to those awful defensive kind of positions, you're really not winning the argument when you have to say, it's my life to throw away if I want to, which is kind of unfortunately the message of Chantal. It's my life to ruin. Don't tell me what to do. I do these things because they make me happy. But she lives thrill to thrill, day to day in a reckless manner, not necessarily in a way that's appreciating the day and making, use of it. You're not my dad. No, honey, he's not your dad. I'm sure if they could find him. As soon as Chantal's mother said pregnant, it was like, boom, out the door, plates spinning on the table, like when the Roadrunner would go by and you would just see a cloud of dust as he dove away. As soon as her mom said, it's a girl. No, Chantal had a really interesting coming up. It doesn't sound like she had all of her needs met. That one or both parents were there, not there. She loves her dad and then turns around and says, you're not my dad. I'm sure her dad would have been happy to, have a relationship with her, but between her mother, her grandmother, there was all these power games. Chantal wasn't hatched. She came from somewhere, and rabbits don't have squirrels. So if she came out this way, she must have been modeling or mirroring it from somewhere. I've met families where there's like 3 generations of people, and you can see that grandma turned this on mom turned it on me, and now she takes it to the internet because she doesn't have anyone else to direct it to. So, So she threw out a joint. She was trying really hard to Muslim. She's Musliming right now. The prayer rug's coming in, the prayer beads. I should learn the language. Why the hell would you wait till you moved back to Canada to learn the language? And who are you trying to impress? Because a responsible thing, an interesting thing, I think one of the perks of living abroad for a long period of time is that you could pick up a new language, learn to cook a few new dishes, even if you're not traveling like a travel vlogger, because she can barely walk. But even if she's still going and trying out and doing other things, there's something to it. Anymore, it's just, let's see how far she can walk until she has to sit down. And that's the cliffhanger of the fucking video. So, the Pilates equipment, it was so awful that just on the day she was going to do Pilates, she ripped her liver. Or, wait, no, it started off with nothing, and then it was a contusion, possibly broken. Then they definitely said to come back if they were still in pain, which to her means that there's some internal organ having some sort of problem. Again, she says she got a GP. She doesn't benefit from having all her care in one place. She needs to have different stories with different professionals, which in some healthcare systems it's hard to do. If things are really siloed, though, then people who she's seeing for multiple different places are not going to be communicating with each other. This is how you find someone online. I'm not saying she's an addict, but you'll find people on, let's say, intervention, who have like 8 doctors, and they get scripts from all 8 doctors. And then when all of them realize that it's fake, you stop all those and you go to another one. Yes, Amber, she has multiple organs going wrong. Excited to do Pilates. No way. The only exercise position she can get in is starfish. It's become very useful in most areas of her life because it doesn't require her to do anything. She would not exercise because it would be good for her. And even though she knows that eating better and whatever is healthy, she's willing to keep pushing the envelope. I'm going to have it my way as long as I can. I'm going to eat as much as I want as long as I can. And if anyone gets on my case, I'll blow some smoke at them about weight loss pills or going to a shrink until they all shut up, and then I can get pizza again. So part of Chantal's cycle isn't just what she's doing, it's how she treats the people around her while she's doing what she's doing. So the revenge video gave a different one. I have to say, just to speak it into the universe in case I didn't, filming your partner without their knowledge is completely unacceptable. This is where we put Chantal in the category as human. It's a reach for some, I know. But that kind of behavior and what he did, I don't care how much he doesn't like her or trying to look for spite. Filming someone without their consent during a sexual episode is not acceptable. It is not okay to do. It's not okay to do to Chantal. However, I don't really have a however. It's not okay that he would do that. It's not okay that he would release it. Um, you can put the blame on her saying she shouldn't have been there, but then we're starting to backtrack responsibility for her being responsible for her own, you know, kind of. It's hard because love the channel. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Ginger. Thank you. Thank you. 6-pack arc coming? Ugh. I don't think so. I don't think so. No, no, no. So we're in the house, and she shows the filthy house, and there's a box of shit behind her, and there's like from Walmart bags pretty high up stacked. Now she said she hasn't cleaned because she's so busy doing what? But she hasn't cleaned anything yet, so she's afraid that the house looks messy. She started to do some cooking, which was different. She was making some mafe, that peanut butter. That's the peanut butter stew that I think she used to make that BB liked, or he taught her, or she learned how, or anything. It's one of her go-tos that she likes, so she made that. She's cutting. This is not a small thing. Cutting board. She's using a glass plate balanced on the end of a sink while sitting. So, your gravity's different because she's short and she's at the sink. I mean, she's probably trying to do stuff up here and, so not comfortable to do, but base camp bees. Oh my God. Yeah. I was pulling for involuntary psychiatric hold bees and see how that shakes down. I don't know anything about hospitalization laws or anything like that in Canada. I know in the US it's very state by state. It's very state by state. So I'm not sure. I've heard her tell stories of going in for mental health help and getting it pretty quickly. The cheese overload. There was some other one that came with it. There was a few other things where she ate something and got herself into a mood. And then, oh, you're here. We're just chatting. We're just chatting is all. So, let's see. What else did she bother me? No, you're not late. You're fine. You're fine. So when she goes into Kick, she's going on a blocking spree. Now, the best way to grow your channel and start on your 3rd or 4th day of this new app is to start blocking people and cutting people off. If you're trying to grow your audience, you might even swallow a few things that bother you just to keep the peace and to keep the community comfortable. People don't want to come in and talk in a chat if it's volatile, if there's a lot going on. I mean, there's a certain kind of viewer that loves that, and there's content for them to watch that does that. I don't usually sit and watch Chantal thinking, ugh, how else is she fucking up her life now? Because it's always surprising. It's never, there's always some new twist to it. There's always some new angle to it. Deciding to learn Arabic after moving home from the Middle East is different. She's still playing fast and loose, sort of, with time frames. She says she hasn't talked to Salah at all, which I don't believe. I think she's reached out to him and he hasn't reached back. Or he did, and it was just very mechanical and very utilitarian kind of conversation where it was like, hey, come get your shit. Or I'm shipping it to Canada. They can leave it at your door. If that's it, that's it. She throws around time frames of, I'll give it a year here. Maybe I'll move again in a year. I have to do this. I have to do that. There's no one stuck to her anymore. Hey, LA. Oh, you're fine. You're fine. There is no late for this chat. You're more than welcome to come in at any time. And it's a big tent. So bring your friends. It's perfectly fine. Let's see. What was another thing that pissed me off? Oh, she needs a computer. Okay. So she had a phone. And then she needed 2, so she bought another phone. And now, in order to fill out job applications and do her resume, she needs a computer. She needs it for that. She had one. She traded it for... This is a family show, so I won't say. But let's just say the busboy left with a computer, and she was left with a smile, assuming he was any good. So that but does she really need a whole computer just to do a few applications? There's a lot of places you can access computers for free. When I moved in with my parents, they didn't have wireless internet as an adult. So like 2007, they had dial-up. They didn't have wireless internet when they were at home. So I would go to the library because it was one of the only places you could go and you could print stuff. And I had my resume in my email from like 2005. So it needed a little updating. and it was a place to go do it. And the library is a great resource for people who, it's one of the only places you can go in America where you don't have to buy something, but you're still allowed to stay. You can use the bathroom, you can sit and read books, you can sit online, you can do all sorts of stuff. And you don't need to justify being there. There's no charge at the door for coming in. Libraries, if they tried to pitch that idea now, would never fly. People would be, too pissed. So information, I think, should be accessible and free. And information technology is important too. So if she's going to go and do something like that, I mean, she could, it's not for a lot. It's just to buy something. It's just, she doesn't need it. Couldn't she have skipped the second phone? Because now she has to, for the laptop, she's going through the store. Oh, that's too much money. Oh, I think that's too much money. Oh, that's too much for this. Yes, this is a family show. Actually, it's not a family show. It really, really isn't. So she doesn't need a computer, but she did need 2 phones. She goes to the store to check out computers, and she knows little to nothing. Now, when it comes to purchasing laptops, I knew little to nothing. So I had cornered what I thought was a sympathetic salesperson who wasn't working commission. I got mine at Best Buy, I think. And they were able to talk me through the process because I was like, look, I'm not a gamer. They kept trying to sell me computers that had monitors that were like giant. I'm like, I'm not a gamer. I pay my 8-bit video games on my little NES Mini on whatever TV I can get to. Don't need all the extra stuff. Don't need all the bells and whistles. They're like, what about lots of memory? I'm like, well, I do have a YouTube channel. So there is, because Mark and I can only hold so much between my computer and both our phones. So the little bit of extra that spills over into computer is easier. Plus there's stuff I can do on a computer that I can't do on my phone. There's the Studio app, but there's limits to that. You could open up YouTube in a browser and go into, Creator Studio and do all that kind of stuff. But I do find it easier on a laptop with a screen if I have to go in and type descriptions, if I have to go in and place ads specifically, or change the text in something. It's easier for me to go onto the computer to do it. She's just going to have to find something low effort that pays. She'll have to find something she can do that doesn't take her a lot of effort, but pays her enough to live. That leaves a lot of things wide open. She was Walmart doesn't have a ton of nice electronics, but they do have a lot of accessible ones. When I was in college, so we're talking 25 years ago, laptops were $3,000. I mean, the really rich kids had laptops. The rest of us either had the Tower, or if you're older, the Pizza Box. I had a Tower one when I went to college. My first computer had 2 gigabytes of memory. My phone has like 8 times that. Chantal in a library? No. You'd sooner seen her at Jenny Craig, so you're not going to see her in a library. But it would be an opportunity. Wouldn't it be something if she went there to go post hate so she could have an anonymous, like the address where she sends it from is muddied because she was going from a library to do it. And she meets some nice guy. Wait till you see. Wait till you see. Someone out there likes Chantal just the way she is, warts and all. I can't see it, but somebody likes her. And she's, I don't know. I'm not a psychic and I don't like to be prophet of doom, but she's 41 and she's super morbidly obese with issues with blood clots and other things like that. Okay, she has a lot going on. It's very possible she's lived more life than she still has ahead of her. Very, very possible. So, you know what, Erica? I got an Asus. And the person who was selling it to me said, look, laptops are like cigarettes. You're paying for the packaging and the name, but inside they're pretty much all the same. Which was a metaphor that totally spoke to me at the time, which is probably why I bought the computer from there. Her and Pete's, yeah, they can go to unemployment together. Between the 2 of them. I don't know. I mean, I don't dislike Pete's as much as... I don't dislike Pete's choices. I think he's kind of go with the flow, but in a you're gonna get washed away kind of way. Like, it's one thing to be easy breezy and roll with the punches of life. And I've known people who they rent an apartment for 6 months and then they go on the road and then they go camp and they do, drive their RV. So there's a lot of ways people spend their life. Hers is spent sealing and eating. And any question of that is ruining her fun. And how dare we try to ruin her fun? further. She copped to using the R word. I think everyone knows what the R word means. And she called Natter. Was it Natter or was it Sala? It wouldn't have been cool. I'm sure Sasa wouldn't have liked it. Is that what you call her when she's not around? You call her a retard? So it's not okay for her, and it's not okay otherwise. There's so many other words to be used. And she didn't apologize. She said, I guess I said word retarded, which I don't even remember. Because she doesn't remember, she doesn't have to apologize. What she'll say is, if I did say it, I'm sorry, but I don't remember saying it. That's the kind of apology you're going to get out of her. We heard, we saw, we were there. Let's see. So yeah, she knew little to nothing about computers. Hoping Teardrop can keep the money coming so she can get one. Doesn't remember using the R word to talk about him. She talked about her and Sala blocking and unblocking. Well, he blocked me, but I blocked him. But then we blocked each other. And now we're not blocked, but we're just not talking. There's so much going on behind the scenes, you don't even know. I think, yeah, she decides, her decision is if you don't like her, it's because she's fat. And then in her head is a fat phobic world and everyone's a potential asshole. There's people with more unique physical distinctions. And it doesn't stop them from falling in love and holding a job they like or having a family or spending time doing hobbies or any of that stuff. It doesn't get in the way of it. Most of Chantal's life is limited by her personality. Yeah, she's 400 pounds, but remember, I hate to say 600-pound life because it's the only access I think a lot of people have to the super morbidly obese. But there's folks there that are really agile when they get down to 400 from, let's say, 6 or 7. And all of a sudden they have all this energy and can do all this stuff. Chantal doesn't know what it feels like to feel better. It's like numb or full. She just chases pleasure to pleasure. And that is sad. Not pathetic sad, but it's without a fix of some sort. She's not happy. She always needs something to take the edge off. How many of her scooters have died at this point? I'm gonna go for at least 3, if not 4, because she keeps killing them. She's killing. Thank God she doesn't want to go horseback riding. Can you imagine? God. So they block and unblock each other because they have such a healthy relationship. Such a completely healthy relationship. She did say that Sala cares for her still. I don't know how he demonstrates that exactly. She puts words, he hates to see me like this. He hates to see me so upset. Did he say that? Or are you just kind of hoping it's true? I wonder if they've had the, look, let's level with each other here talk. The one where she doesn't go back and he doesn't mention her name again. If she needs some views for something, it'll come back up, Or if she finds out he's with another woman, she'll try to play other woman. Because she doesn't have relationships, she has games. And she doesn't have partners. She has, competitors. The whole back and forth, the whole come here, go away routine. The kind of power games that she would play with Natter when they were, when they used to be sleeping together, not when they've recently slept together. But exactly. There's challenges. Everyone's got their challenges with life. And I've known people who are more motivated. And so even if they're a bigger person, they still have goals and dreams. And you can be a big person. You can be a overweight person and be a lot of things. You could be a great singer. You could be a good actress. You could be a great lay. You could be a good wife or mother or father or brother or uncle. You can do all those things. You can't be fat and be healthy. But pretty much everything else, your limits are your own. Whatever you think you can't do, you can Google it and find someone in less circumstances favorable than yours who is going to do it. So it's not as if Chantal doesn't have opportunities to change. She just doesn't want to. She'll change her audience. She'll change the mirror. It's like if you don't like the score in a game, you fire the scorekeeper instead of changing the players of the game. I don't like the way this turned out, so we're not going to say it ended like that. But that's how it ended. That's how you... And the other one, as far as we're talking about abusive language, Chantal will go off at the chat. Because right now she's either talking to Sala or Natter or maybe Dee Dee, or whoever she's talking to. She's not really talking to the chat. And then she will reiterate when people get kind of upset by saying, I'm not talking to my loyal Beezers. They know who they are. So this is military-style punishment a la Chantal. Somebody fucks up, everyone gets yelled at. And some of these people maybe really do get bubbles in their stomach because she's mad. I don't like it when she's mad. What can we do to make her feel better? A chat is an audience. It might be company, could be group discussion, but a whole chat meant to cradle her ego because something was upsetting to her. You know, she's not grown. She's kind of immature emotionally. And I mean, we all have places we all have blind spots, I know, but she's no. So going forward, what are we thinking? Well, she's still going to be popping up places for free. She'll have to wait at least another month with Twitch to find out if she's going to be able to go ahead with that. Her spirit in her says, oh, well, whatever that thing she says in Islam to the sky, the one that means whatever happens, great, whatever happens, not, as long as I have God in my life and blah, blah. Honey, I'd be so happy for you if you did. People whose life is fulfilled by their spirituality and they're concerned with their own growth and their real relationship with a God of their understanding, whoever that may be, that journey looks very different than what we see from Chantal. Chantal is hot under the collar, living impulse to impulse, has no sense of delayed gratification. And so people aren't sympathetic to her because no one likes someone like that. She didn't want accountability. Well, yeah, she doesn't. And then she's like, and who was the chat to hold me accountable? 3 days earlier, guys, I really need your help. I really need you to be here with me and support me and blah, blah, blah. And then when these same people say, hey, you weren't online until 4 o'clock in the morning. Is everything all right? What happened? You're not my parents, okay? It's none of your business. I have a life offline. Nobody knows what goes on between two people when they're offline. How about nothing? How about she probably has to text him from another room and he won't even come in and talk to her? Well, that was Sala. So I have to say, it really is a seller's market. Do I want Natter? Do I want Sala? Find somebody else. Please find somebody else. Or go single and do it right. You know, there's nothing wrong with being a single person, having romantic partners, having friends with benefits, different stuff like that. But not... I think the guy who asked her for the money of the pizzas. I don't know. I felt awkward for Chantal because the guy was pretty forward who came up. Chantal's sitting there trying to eat her sandwich from Subway, and she's approached by a guy who starts talking to her kind of very abruptly. She said that's... So I think she was... Well, I think he thought he could intimidate a woman. I think people that are looking for something for nothing, if you're hungry, you're hungry. And Chantal did what I think a lot of people would do, which is, I don't have any money, which she doesn't. She usually just has her card on her. Unless she has a man she needs to slip that 20s into his hand, she didn't have it. She offered to buy him food, which was a nice offer. And she's like, how about a pizza? And he's like, how about 3? It's like, what? So she pays for it, he gets it. She talked a little bit about people who don't have housing and how it's not a nice neighborhood and how the guy had snot and this and that on him. And, you know, she fed him. That's nice. Yeah, he asked for quite a few. He asked for more. I mean, somebody asking for that much, I'd be like, yeah, let me get you a quick slice and you're good to go. Okay? I almost never would give out money. When I lived in Philly, I was in college. And of course, from small town white kid from Northeast PA, I didn't understand the extent to which people would lie to get something out of you. The first time I ever went to South Street, I think I was 16. We went to do Habitat for Humanity with my school. And I was on South Street. I gave some dude $10 because he said he was collecting money for kids with AIDS. And I was like, oh, that's a great cause. I didn't know. I'm not a city person, and I was a kid. So we live and learn, I suppose. I don't know. Like I said, going forward, it's going to be more probably running, but I'm going to guess running between Kick and Foodie Beauty, the Facebook, and bouncing back and forth to try to get people to all show up at one place. So she's getting members, but it's spread really thin. And even Even Teardrop's getting a little sick of it, I think. Between personal crises, which seems to be what Teardrop brings to the chat, she comes with a problem, which Chantal then acknowledges and validates because they have a financial relationship, of at least a financial relationship. So I was suckered. I'm a sucker. I'm very easily sucker for that kind of thing. But I was also, like I said, I was a kid. I didn't know. So Dee Dee went live to chat about Foodie. I just got an alert from Milky that she's coming on, which is just about in time because I think we're going to check out. I'm going to have the rest of my chicken and rice. Tomorrow's a work day, so I'm going to take it easy breezy, see if it's still snowing out. The 3 pizzas. You know, I'm going to give Chantal amnesty on that. It was an awkward situation. The fact that she gave him anything, I think she felt put upon because she was online. It was an uncomfortable thing for someone. That's like if someone says, do you have a 20? Like, not change, like, do you have more? And I was happy to see that she at least just got him some food. I mean, how many times have people bought food for Chantal? The least she can do is pay it forward. Yeah. Good-hearted at 16 from a small town is sucker. I got better as I got older. I would never usually have cash on me because I had a problem with spending a lot of cash when I was in college. So I would keep just my debit card on me. But I always had cigarettes. So if I'm ever walking down the street, waiting for the subway, waiting for a bus, whatever, and I'm smoking, I know what it's like to want a cigarette and not have one. So if anybody, I don't care what condition they were in, asked for one, I would almost always say yes if I had it. Because when you have absolutely nothing, the idea of a cup of coffee and a cigarette is dizzying when you've got absolutely nothing else going on. So I'll participate in that for people and give them a little creature comfort if I could. But, you know, I think she was kind of put upon. It was an awkward situation. She handled it as best as she could have, I think. She did go into a further point of, well, I don't know what he's going to spend the money on, so I don't know if I should give it to him. Well, then she gave food, and that's fair. What he does with the money is a reflection on him. Whether or not you help him out is a reflection on you. Now, it's not always that cut and dry, necessarily. But if someone asks me for a cigarette, I have a whole pack, they have none, and they say, please. And I say, sorry, don't have enough for you, and keep it moving. You know, whose day is better for that? So, well, thank you all for joining me. Thank you all for being here. We are at the hour. So I'm going to go roll up like a burrito in a blanket, see if it's still snowing out. Mark is taking down some Christmas decorations. He'll be in touch very soon. I hope you guys got to see his video from yesterday. He put in a lot of updates, just how he's doing and what's going on. So check that out. Please subscribe if you feel so inclined. We also have memberships available, $2.99 a month for the Smokey Deck. We have some member content, posts, lives, stuff like that. So feel free to check it out. And please hit the thumbs up also. And thanks for watching. So we will catch up with you very soon. Not sure how soon, but soon, within the next couple days or so. Happy New Year. Thank you, Ranku. Thank you for the super chat. The kiddies will be very, very, very happy. That's so nice. All right, you beautiful people and lurkers in the back. As always, there's more of you than most. Thanks for being here. Thanks for indulging me, and we'll talk soon. All right, bye.